Hello, this is John Pendleton, Janie's husband, and what we're doing is Janie's going to show you in reference to the motorhome some things that we've done to it. But one thing we need to look at today is we need to look at the power supply. The lights are going dim, the batteries aren't charging, and we should be able to use the power with the battery, but we can't right now. So what the problem is the converter. There's a converter and there's another device that you may have in a motorhome that changes AC to DC and DC to AC. This particular one changes and powers from an AC source and charges the battery and allows for the batteries to supply the power for the motorhome. So this device here is the one we're looking at. Now I've unplugged it from the power source, and there's several tools you're going to need. If you're dealing with electricity, it's a good idea to unplug things. This is a power checker, so it's on right now, and this shows that I've got power. I also have a voltmeter, and you can see the voltmeter. I've got it set on AC, and I'm going to check the power here and make sure there's 120 volts coming out of this. So I'm going to put my negative in there, and I'm going to put my positive in there, just like that. And if you look here, there's 120 volts of AC power. We've got it plugged in, the motorhome plugged in. The power outlet works. I've undone the power outlet to the converter, and we have to check the converter to see what's the problem. So what we're going to do is we're going to undo things here, and I'll show you step by step what to do. And you may have to get a new one, you may not. And we may have to get a new one, we may not either. So here we go. So what I've done here with my voltmeter is I've reset it to read 250 volts DC. 10's too low, and it would be over that. It's supposed to be 13.6. And after that, I'm going to put the voltmeter here, and I'm going to check to see if this unit actually puts out 13.6 volts DC. If it doesn't, then that will be an issue. And I'll post this right here, just like that, so we can both see it. And got the positive, the negative. I've turned up the positive wire there, so it's out of the way. I've got to plug it back into the plug-in, and we know that there's power in the plug-in. I've showed you that. And we're going to see how much power this thing is putting out. So we plugged it in. Now, I'm going to take the voltmeter and that and that. And as you can see, it should be 13 volts and DC. Now we're going to turn it on 10. It should go to the top here. It's a little bit more than actually that. Now let's see if this is, let's see if we can get it to move. There's the one, and no, it's not reading hardly anything. So and it's not, yeah, it's not. So we don't have. So I turned it on 10 volts. It wasn't reading hardly much at all, and I can't get a good rating as far as the DC output on that. So that means I'm going to unplug it, and that means our unit is bad. I'm not getting enough voltage DC to charge the batteries or do what I need to do. So there's not voltage. So here we go. Let me look here. I'm gonna check the fuses to see if they're bad. Maybe that could be the issue. If you look at the fuses are not burnt. The only thing that could really cause them to burn up is crossing the wires as far as the battery goes. I'm going to walk over here and show you the battery. For the battery. Pull that pin out and you bring out the battery. Somebody said my batteries were bad. But right now, the motorhome, the lights and everything will work if the motor's on, or if the generator is operational. But the lights dim and flicker in and out, and absolutely do not work for nothing now, because this unit here needs to be replaced. And I'm going to plug it in one more last time, put the fuses back in, plug it back in, and just check it one more time to see if that is an issue. Thank you. Okay, so I've taken off the converter, and I'm going to have to get a new one. I had to take off the grounding. There's the negative, there's the positive, and we do know that there is sufficient power coming out of this. There actually isn't any power coming. See, when you deal with, if they've wired your home or your motorhome right, this and this are there should be no power in those. Those are negative. And when you searching for power, that's where you should get the power. I showed you that I measured it with the voltmeter, and we had 120 because it's plugged in. And I'm going to put a piece of tape over this so that nobody gets into it accidentally and it doesn't arc. I'm going to put a piece of tape over those, and I'm going to go and try to get a power supply converter that will make this work. Talk to you all later. I'll show you how you put it in. Basically the same way. Positive, negative. Screw it back up on the wall. I left the screws on the other side so it wouldn't be an issue. And hook it back up and it should work. So this is John again, Janie's husband, and I'm looking at the converter. I didn't talk about some things, and one thing I need to tell you, there's a converter that converts AC, your standard power that comes out of your outlet, to DC, and this is a DC meter. I got it in the mail. I ordered it with another converter because the converter didn't appear to be working right. But if you plug in the converter to the standard outlet, what you get with this meter, it wasn't registering on the voltmeter, but there's 13.85 volts DC coming out of this unit. So whether or not I should have bought one or not is a question, but I did get another one. And I'm going to install the other one in the RV because there might be something internally wrong with this that has a short or something in it. I'm going to have to kind of take it apart and maybe have it refurbished. And then I'll have a backup. But when the other unit comes, I'll show you it. But for better or worse, this is putting out now. It wasn't when it was in the motorhome, but now it's putting out 13.821 volts DC. And this is a converter. It goes from standard power, you look here, plugged in, and this converts it to DC. And it appears to be working as far as this meter goes. And it should have been charging the batteries. So the next step is I'm going to show you how to take out the batteries of an RV and have them serviced. I'll see you in a little bit.